You're listening to the voice of IWA Flip here on Interfed Radio. Welcome to the Living Nightmare After Hours.
I'm here. How's it going? Happy New Year.
Oh, man, Happy New Year. You know what? That intro still has me. When you told me about it, I was like, oh, man, that's going to be so perfect coming into that.
You mentioned, you mentioned the RWL opening, which is fantastic. And I completely agree. I think a good LNL opening song is necessary. And that's the one I thought of.
Yeah.
How do you top that?
How do you top that? And if you didn't catch it, the Living Nightmare is 18 and over, so yeah.
Right.
That's a perfect
few liberties may be taken. Yes.
Oh man, love it. Now we ended the year with oh my goodness. I mean, I still got chills after that freaking trash talk, man. I'm like, I thought I was being, over the top, and I thought I was being all this and that, and I got my what did you call it? The oh shit moment to the Living Nightmare League. I was like,
I think that's
my good, what the? And I'm not going to give anything away yet because we got a lot to talk about. But oh yeah, I definitely had that. Welcome to the Living Nightmare League.
It was a good moment. I think good way to cap the year.
More like decapitate the year. Like.
Yeah. Well said.
Now, as we do, let's go ahead and give our Living Nightmare champions their shout out because we got a lot to go over. So let's start the new year by giving last year's final champions their shout outs. And what a way to end it! Torgo? Is that how you pronounce it?
I think so. Yes.
Torgo, our Living Nightmare champion, and do we say it now?
You should. Yes, go ahead. And then I want to add an interesting fact.
This is, we've been talking about this, about moving forward, moving away from it because it was sought out throughout the year and nobody seemed to be able to bring it home. But, Torgo brings home the hardcore championship. And
yes, man, he did.
I'm like, whoa, yep. I'm like, what a way to end the year for the Living Nightmare League.
Yep, definitely. Yeah. Congratulations to his manager. Awesome guy. Very happy for him. 500 strat, took home the hardcore title. Unfortunately, the iCash prize has moved on because nobody was winning the hardcore title, but still a great accomplishment. What I was going to mention was the last person to win the last monster, to win the hardcore title in the LNL, Torgo, last year.
Sweet.
So, I know. Isn't that, I was like, he's the last one that won the hardcore title.
Do you know what? Dude.
Whatever he's doing.
Yeah. Way to keep bringing it back to the Living Nightmare League, Torgo.
That's right.
So he was our Nightmare champion as well. Our paranormal champion. This guy. Dr. Frankenstein. Dr. Frankenstein. Congratulations. Amityville champion Marlowe. Our Crystal Lake champion Dragon Negro. Our Elm Street champion Patient X. our Black Lagoon champion, Foxwoman Santana, our Camp Arwak champion, Michael Myers, our Transylvania champion, Patient Y, our Haunted Hill champion from the Battle Royal, Catfish Rob, and Sleepy Hollow champion, Octopussy, Slalom's Lot champion from the Battle Royal, Jason Voorhees 13, and the Crypt champion, also from the Battle Royal, Sinister Bagul. Apocalypse Tag Team Champions Patient X and Dr. Frankenstein. Doomsday TV Tag Team Champions Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees 13. Our Slaughterhouse Six-Man Champions, bringing home 5 free matches, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and Leatherface. And our Nightmare TV Champion, rounding off our champions, Foxwoman Santana, Catfish Rob, and Wolfman Joe.
Yeah, big congrats to those guys.
Yeah, you know what? Fox, what is it? Foxman Joe, showed up, and he was that final piece they were missing to, start bringing home some of those six-man.
Some of those six-mans, yeah. I'm sure we'll get to it if we talk about the trash talk later, but Wolfman Joe, I think, fits right in with Catfish and Foxwoman. Something about combining two different animals together for a first name spells success, I do believe.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Now we had a big one this past cycle that we that we finally got, all the information, because the pay-per-view was rolled in, and we had some action, bro. I mean, I'm loving
it. Yeah, for sure. I thought it was a pretty good write-up. I appreciate Dennis's help. Hello?
Oh shoot! I thought I lost you too. I'm like, uh oh. Because it does cut on and off a little bit, but like I said, that's why I was making sure you're like, is he still going? No, okay, cool. But we can edit that out. That's no biggie. What do you call it? So are we doing pay-per-view, Scott, or are we going finals of the standings first and then the pay-per-view?
Well, to be honest, I have not finalized the points yet, but I'm pretty sure that the ones listed are going to end up being the ones that are listed number one in the holidays are, I'm 98% sure, are going to be the ones who win wrestler tag and six-man. If we want to mention the awards real quick, I will have a few more awards chosen by myself in the January bulletin, just to kind of acknowledge some of the hard work and effort that the managers have put in this year. Always appreciated. Excellent stuff. Thank you.
For those of you guys that are listening, if you haven't had a chance, go check out the Catfish Rob Awards. the Catfish Rob Awards are posted. Go take a peek. Like I said, Catfish is one of the managers that makes the Living Nightmare League, kind of jump out at you.
Yeah. Nothing but love for Catfish Rob. If you want to go over, we can go over the results real quick if you want from the pay-per-view.
Okay, perfect.
Bosco the Clown managed to get by Michael Myers to retain the Anarchy title. There may be some small changes coming to the Anarchy title defense. Maybe we'll touch on that later. Jason Voorhees managed to defeat Sinister Bagul in what I would probably consider the most heated match going into the pay-per-view. Last man standing, Dragon Rojo defeated Catfish Rob. And then in the chain match, Dragon Verde defeated Foxwoman Santana. Both very high impact, bloody matches. So if you're into that kind of thing, check those out. The Underworld title match, Dragon Armalo. Was I close? Can you correct me?
Amarillo.
Thank you. Yes, I'm just going to have you say those.
Yes, you're like Okay, close enough.
Close. Defeated Patient Z to win the Underworld title. Interestingly enough, there has not been a successful defense of the Underworld title yet. So we'll
Oh,
see if the Dragon can break that trend at the next pay-per-view. The tag team turmoil match was won by Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees. Congratulations on becoming two-time Terror Tag Team champions. And then the sale, or quote-unquote possible sale, of the LNL with Commissioner Pratt and Reverend Boswell. Do you? I don't want to go over too many of the details, but I think we should reveal kind of a synopsis of the end. Do you agree?
yeah.
Okay,
You know
so
what? Like I said, I mean, Living Nightmare League. I mean, if you haven't checked it out, go check out that write up. I mean, it's what if you're a new and aspiring commissioner, take a look at what went on here and how they review the pay-per-views because it's important, especially if you're running a trash talk based league. This is how you want your shows to kind of come out after it's all said and done. You want to have a nice review, and yeah, the sale of the LNL that still has me shooken, man, because like you said, I don't want to give away too much because it's just yeah, I think we said enough at the beginning of the show already.
it's definitely one of those moments where you have to read it again because you're like, did that really just? Is that what just happened? But while we're on the possible sale of the LNL, super major shout out to Dennis, who did that part of the write up for the show. Amazing stuff. Really appreciate all he does. So I enjoyed it. I think it was a great way to climax what is essentially a year-long story of Reverend Boswell. So we'll see where everything goes moving forward.
Oh yeah, and like I said, without giving away too much, I mean the final match, I wasn't expecting to start in that fashion.
True that. True that. So
Holy moly! I
and
was
then we
like,
yeah
holy no, this is amazing. Yes, you got. Oh my goodness, no. Yeah, good stuff.
yeah that again
Good
that
stuff.
was all the credit for that goes to Dennis. So kudos to him. We then had our main event, won by Sinister Bagul, who can now, in addition to winning $8 in LNL credit, which isn't the biggest prize, but hey, I'd take $8.
Yeah.
So in addition to the $8 in LNL credit, Sinister Bagul can now challenge for the Underworld title at any time. All he has to do in order to do that is announce in his trash talk that cycle that he's taking his title match. So
Nice.
something different that the LNL hasn't done yet. We've had the Underworld title for about maybe about a year and a half, close to a year and a half, and it's only been defended a few times. It's only defended at the pay-per-views. It's a big deal. So this is definitely a big deal. Also, it could, we could have next cycle could be the cash in, so to speak. So I think it creates a sense of unpredictability. He could cash it in the cycle before a pay-per-view. We could, turn a pay-per-view main event on its head. So, it is, pardon the pun. But I think that's exciting. So I'm looking forward to that, seeing when that cash in will occur.
Oh yeah, no, like you said, it adds that uneasy feeling.
Mm-hmm. Could be any
Now,
time.
now the other thing we seen last cycle is the announcement of the next. Is this our next pay per view here in the Living Nightmare League? Dead by Dawn.
Yeah. Kind of the first kind of basic layout for the matches you can we see building with feuds. I certainly would welcome a rematch between Jason Voorhees and Sinister Bagul. I don't know if they're interested in continuing their feud. I would think that was awesome. I really hope, speaking of which, I'm going to sidebar, sorry. But I really hope that we hear from the Krampus Michael Myers has been calling him out for like 3 cycles, and I would love to hear a response from the Krampus. Christmas season is over now. Krampus has punished all the naughty children, so now he can get to the business of responding to Michael Myers, I hope. So that sidebar finished. Dead by Dawn is the next pay-per-view. We'll have obviously an Underworld title match, an Anarchy title match, a Terror Tag Team title match. The Underworld title will be defended against the winner of the Monsters Ball, which will begin with the top 20 singles points scorers from 2018, just like it did last year. I think the Monsters Ball is going to be an annual event beginning in January every year. So this year, the Monsters Ball winner will challenge for the Underworld title. The Anarchy champion will defend in a fatal 4-way against the top 3 finishers. Let me rephrase that. Will defend against the top finisher from the first 3 Battle Royals of the year that is not also a champion already. So, if the current Underworld champion, for say, wins the Battle Royal, he's not going to challenge for the Anarchy title. So it'll go to the next person. So fatal 4-way there. I have not yet announced who will challenge for the Terror Tag titles. I think I'll probably have a number 1 contender match announced this cycle, and then that'll take place the following cycle. And so then we'll have a few cycles to know who's going to challenge for that. And then the kind of the big one, the contest match, is the Dead by Dawn match, which I'm so excited about. I think it's going to be a really fun write-up. It is where we talked about it on the last show, but maybe for our first-time listeners, it is a match where the competitors will meet in a basically like a cemetery that has a bunch of open graves, and the idea is that you have to bury your opponents, and we'll see who is dead by not buried. So.
Oh, I love it, and it has such a great buy-in. I mean, 2 monsters
for $1.
Can't beat that.
It's hard to top 2 monsters for $1. I think hopefully will get us a good number of people.
Yeah, no. I mean, like I said, it's a good good pay-per-view contest already. But to do it, 2 for 1, like I said, that'll give everybody a shot to to get in and participate.
Yeah, I hope so.
Now this one's in April, so that means so you're splitting them about 5 cycles apart, the pay-per-views?
Yeah, give or take 5 or 6. Well, into this idea of having 3 a year. So there'll be 5 or 6 cycles apart. The idea, if I, schedule it correctly, will be one towards the end of April, one towards the end of August, and then one towards, the end of December. Is kind of the basic idea of a layout. So hopefully that holds. And we'll see. So far, I haven't repeated any pay-per-views, but I definitely think Head in the Box could come back next year. I definitely think Dead by Dawn could return. I think Chamber of Horrors was a fun summer pay-per-view where the main event was in a elimination chamber match. So, those could be the 3 I settle on. I think those are 3 good ones.
Now, this Haunted Ghoul Grounds contest, is that?
Yeah. So the Haunted Grounds contest, just a little something extra I'm throwing in. So I will track, and next cycle you'll start to see kind of how everybody's doing. If a monster, if a competitor, wrestler, or fighter can win all 10 different regionals in 2019, which would be a difficult task to achieve, they'll win an LNL match deal.
Nice.
So if no one can win all 10 unique regionals, the haunted grounds, right? The best performing monster will still get 10 free matches. So at the end of the year, somebody's going to get at least 10 free matches for doing the best job winning as many different regional titles as possible.
I like it. I mean, I've been a fan of that little gimmick or uh, contest, because I mean it adds a little diversity, especially in these limit leagues. Gives you a little something more to shoot for. I think Will Wisdom does something, with one of his commissioner titles where he'll pick like I think three of the belts, and
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you can
he's
win, three of the belts, you can get a shot. So yeah,
yep,
I like his. Like I said, very similar like that, where you can try and win a certain number of titles.
yeah, yep. He's got I think it's American, Canadian, and Mexican.
Right, the tri
Yeah,
regional.
yeah. I think that's a cool concept. I stole this one pretty much directly from the RWL, who ran a very similar contest this past year. So, when somebody does something right, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So that's kind of where I got it from. But yeah, the AWL has a good kind of contest going there too.
Oh my goodness! And I scroll down and I see a rat. I see a rat. Oh yeah. Oh, squeaky.
Squeaky. Um, there was I do enjoy the play on words, and how and I wanted to note that the rat, it says in here that he is going to change size at unexpected times, right? And I'm like, that could be very interesting. So we'll see how that works out
Oh,
for RoboCat and his.
oh, poor guys. I mean, that little that duo right there is going to get themselves into some pretty messed up stuff. I mean, I know we've talked on air already, or off
Yeah,
air already, man. And like I said, I mean this, as like I said, without spoiling too much, yeah, definitely, you know, both of them are kind of, I kind of want to say like Pinky and the Brain. They're
yeah,
both, they got their wits about each of them. So.
yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a fun story to watch.
Oh, here we go.
So
Voorhees and Michael.
yeah, yeah, um, yeah. Mike, well, Jason doesn't seem to take too kindly to Sinister Bagul, who in the last cycle kind of tried to take over Camp Crystal Lake. So Jason gets his own personal form of revenge against some Sinister Bagul fans this cycle. Always fun to read what Jason gets into. And then Michael, aforementioned Michael calling out the Krampus. He says here that he is too frightened to face him. And Fritz the Owl, love Fritz. Hopefully Fritz continues his review of those wrestlers. But he calls out Krampus also and says, maybe he's a coward. Maybe they're too frightened to reply. So, I hope that maybe encourages the Krampus,
the Krampus to come out of his
to come out from his holiday slumber and come after Michael. I think that could be good.
Oh yeah, no, and me, I mean, can I say this?
You can say whatever you want.
The Pale Man's departure.
Yeah.
I mean, it really. I mean, it's getting to some people very, very. It hit home here in the Living
Yeah.
Nightmare.
I know. I know. Fritz mentions it. I know Catfish was a fan. It's just a case where I think at some point you have to keep evolving things. And as much as the Pale Man had in that column had its fans, I think it's kind of time for something new or something different, so all due respect to the fans who enjoyed his work, I feel and felt like it was time to move in a different direction with that. So
nice.
But you never know.
Hey,
there could be a return at some point. For those of you who are curious, the Pale Man, as pictured there, is a character in the movie Pan's Labyrinth, one of my favorite all-time movies, and he is legit freaky. If you can watch that part of the movie and not be unnerved by the Pale Man, you are a stronger person than me, because I've seen the movie, a half a dozen times, and every time it gets me a little on edge watching the Pale Man.
Pan's Labyrinth, huh?
Yeah, it's excellent movie.
I got it. I'll definitely put it on the list. I'll put it on the list right now.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen? Obviously it's throughout the entire freaking internet right now. But have you seen Bird Box?
So, among my many quirks are this idea that if everybody's doing something, sometimes I'm less enthusiastic about doing it.
I didn't even want to give it a chance because it was a Sandra Bullock movie.
Yeah. So I've got nothing against Sandra Bullock, but I just feel like, everybody was doing it, and so I'm like, I'm not gonna do it, right. Which I know is so goofy on my part, but I'm like, I'm not gonna do it just because everybody else is doing it.
I had the one coworker come in. He's all like, "Dude, you gotta watch it." I'm like, "I'll get to it, bro." He comes in like the next day. "Did you watch it?" I'm like, "No, dude, not yet. No, not yet." And then oh yeah, every coworker. So I was the same way. I was reluctant, and then I had my graveyard shift, and I had one coworker who's this big old UFO fanatic, and he comes in and he starts putting some Dan Aykroyd like conspiracy theory video, and how Dan Aykroyd believes, and I'm like, okay, it's time to watch Bird Box.
I do love Dan Aykroyd. He is an interesting fellow.
Yeah, but I wasn't ready to hear Dan Aykroyd talk about UFO conspiracy theories, bro. I wasn't
prepared.
Not prepared for it, bro. I'm like, nope, not gonna do this, bro. You gotta go. I'm gonna put on Bird Box, nice and loud.
Yeah. It reminds me though. Do you happen to watch Bob's Burgers?
I've seen it, yes.
Bob's Burgers is one of my favorite shows, and there's this episode where all the kids at school are playing this game. I can't ball, and it can only hit their shins, and it's really goofy. I love Bob's Burgers, but everybody's playing it, right? And Gene is like one of the kids on the show. It's like, I don't want to play it just because everybody else is doing it, and that's what I think of with Bird Box. Gene is like, just because everybody's doing it doesn't mean everybody wants to do it. So.
I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna hold off.
Hold on.
Yes. You know which one I held off on for a while too was freaking Birdman
with Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton movie.
Oh my god, that movie makes me laugh so much,
dude. And I held off, so I was like, dude, I don't want to watch it. This fucking movie looks retarded. I was just like, and then I finally watched it. And I was like, oh, that's Other than him, he committed suicide at the end, right? Can we?
I don't. Oh well.
Or do you think he flew away? Do you think he flew away?
Right. I think it's left up to interpretation, but chances are good that he is no longer among the living. Might be among the living nightmare, though.
Yes.
How much you great Birdman?
Oh yeah, I gotta bring. Yeah.
Anybody's interested in joining? Dead Birdman.
Dead Birdman. Oh man. Oh, that was a nice little sidebar right there. So now, where are we at with our?
I think we're to Morbius, and I mentioned it last time. I'll mention it again. I am a big fan of this kind of comic book type trash talk. I think it is fresh. I like it. I think it's different.
I even got a dragon in there. Dragon.
The dragon definitely looks like a dragon. I hope that's his tail.
Oh shit! Oh man.
I mean, when you look at the picture,
Oh shit!
there is a certain amount of interpretation. But
Oh.
yeah, I enjoy Morbius. I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to that.
And I mean, I mean, this obviously happened, days before, the pay-per-view. So he's trying to get an interview with
Right.
Boswell. The Dragon doesn't let him. Morbius, who isn't, into killing, just kind of, well, yeah, he somehow manages to, swing the. Yeah, I just, you know what?
Yeah.
Until you mentioned it, now I'm looking at this damn picture wrong.
Now you can't see anything else, can you?
Oh,
Uh,
jeez.
but yeah, but I like it. Yeah, it's just prior to the Head in the Box pay-per-view.
Yeah, so he tries to go get an interview, it doesn't happen. So we'll see where this goes, because
Good
yeah,
luck getting that interview now, sir.
poor Morbius.
Or Morbius.
Oh man,
So then we have Foxwoman Santana and Catfish Rob. There was a line, and Catfish is always good, but there was a line in here that made me laugh. Oh, Foxwoman is calling out Dragon Verde, and says, "You stink so bad. Please take a bath, for your stinking body smells like a pig pile of crap, or maybe dragon dung." And I laugh.
oh
Uh,
shit.
yeah. I enjoy Foxwoman Santana and Catfish Rob. And and Foxwoman also goes, "We want to wish all of the LNL a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, except you stinking dragons."
Oh yeah.
So that was good, I thought.
Oh yeah, I love it. I mean, like I said, I mean, Catfish, you definitely got some fans out here, and and he got some gold now. So
Yeah.
thanks to Foxman Joe, got some gold around his waist, and
Yeah.
now these do they only transform in the moon, or is it just
Well, that's not my understanding. Foxwoman can transform on will, and I believe. Let me double check. I think Wolfman Joe says. Oh yeah, Catfish says that he can be a man or a wolf or even a wolf man, because he can
interesting?
change into all three. So he doesn't say whether or not he can transform on will, but that's kind of the impression I get. So I mean, I would not want to mess with Wolfman Joe. Doesn't that
Oh
sound
no.
like that should be like a 70s song?
Oh
No?
yeah.
Like you
Like
don't talk
dun,
on
dun,
Superman's cable,
dun.
spit into the wind, and you don't wrestle Wolfman Joe. You know? That's what I think.
Oh, I love it. And I mean, now that he got more help coming, as we saw with the end of the RoboCat trash talk, looks like RoboCat is looks like he was too late, because he was supposed to go and help Catfish Rob, at that pay-per-view, and as we've seen in the pay-per-view results, Catfish got the short end of the stick.
He did. He did. Yeah.
So RoboCat
And
was too late. So see, he's not going to be too happy to see RoboCat getting there late.
pro-
Yeah.
probably not. Yeah, probably not. Catfish has had a lot of success at pay-per-views. So yeah. So couple pay-per-view losses for Catfish Rob.
Oh,
Speaking of which, we have.
I was about
Go
to
ahead.
say. I was about to say.
Speaking of which, we have the Dragons who are feeling pretty good about their 3 for 3. they managed to defeat Catfish Rob, Foxwoman Santana, and Patient Z. So now the Yellow Dragon, boom, got around that, is the Underworld
I
champion.
love it.
And enjoy this cycle's cover because I was trying to think, what can I put in the background? And as soon as it hit me, I was like, duh, why didn't you think of that right away? So there's this dragon in the background there, which I thought was pretty cool. Maybe.
Oh yeah.
I'm a little nerdy. The dragons are feeling pretty good.
I mean,
And what I like here about the trash talk.
It almost looks like they brought out the broom. They brought the broom with them to the ring.
Yeah.
Clean sweep.
Clean sweep. What I do like is that they firmly establish here that coming out of the pay-per-view, they're not suddenly good guys, right? They are still firmly established as the heels of the LNL, so to speak. And so I definitely think that was a good move on their part to make sure that they're not suddenly turning over a new leaf. They're definitely still the Dragons, still going to be the bane of the monster world of the LNL. So we'll see how the monsters respond. It does seem like, as you mentioned, Catfish Rob getting some more help. Definitely could see a big feud continuing there with Catfish and RoboCat against some of the Dragons. Could be a big feud for 2019 for sure.
Oh yeah, I like I said, I definitely see that one boiling into some new blood.
Yeah, which is good. It's good to kind of, that's how you keep your feuds fresh, is kind of taking it in a new direction. So I think adding in RoboCat and perhaps Squeaky will definitely be that good new blood. And Wolfman Joe,
Oh yeah.
Will be a good addition for the continuation of that feud.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what happens moving forward with Morbius, whether he, whether he decides to side with the Dragons now, or who knows? Who knows with everything that's gone on this cycle? Because a lot of possibilities there now.
Right. Which going into the new year, I'm not huge on new year, new me type stuff, but going into the new year, coming out of this pay-per-view, I think more than our pay-per-views in the past, I feel like we could, the possibilities are open. I'm really excited to see kind of where the chips fall over the next cycle or two. I definitely think it's going to be a good start to 2019. Speaking of Morbius, though, there is an interesting factoid in the Dr. Frankenstein pay-per-view, in the Dr. Frankenstein trash talk, where Patient X brings over a folder labeled Morbius and hands it to Dr. Frankenstein.
Dun dun dun.
I'm wondering, what Frankenstein's interest in Morbius is. We know that Dr. Frankenstein is a little off his rocker. And he also calls out Drake Maverick and hopes that they got the hint last tour. Unfortunately, Drake and Razor and Akam were inactive again. I hope that that's just a temporary thing. If the manager of those particular monsters or wrestlers is listening, I'd love to see you come back. Came in like a house of fire. I definitely think could be a really strong force in 2019. And so while Dr. Frankenstein hopes they got the hint to stay out of the way, I hope that they come back and give Dr. Frankenstein the what for.
Or maybe they were afraid of the glob. The glob.
On the back? What a good cap off. Yes. The glob on the back. Which actually I love the picture of who is that from X-Men?
You got me there.
Yeah. It's isn't it the Blob?
It might be. It might be.
I'm gonna double check, but I'm 90% sure that it's the Blob, which is hilarious. That I would go, I wonder who that is. It is the Blob.
It is the Blob.
But Glob is kind of a play on my nerd is showing, but is a play on Adventure Time and how
Nice.
they don't call God, they call God Blob or like Glob, and so I wanted to play on I didn't want to do the Blob, so I thought I'll do the Glob, which is a subtle reference to Adventure Time also,
Nice.
for those of you who might be fans.
Now, I was actually going to use the picture of the 19, what was it? What year would that movie come out?
Oh,
The
from the Blob?
From the Blob, the
Yeah,
movie.
with the guy like screaming.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, and I was like, I'm telling you, up until I read that damn pay-per-view that still has me, with chills.
Sure.
I was like, all right, maybe I'll tone it down. All right, cool, let's just do, you know, a huge, big old dude. I was like, but yeah, now I kind of wish I went the other way.
Well, I like what's there. I mean,
Yeah.
the poster from the movie would have been cool too. But I like what you chose.
I was like, oh man, because yeah, Dennis, dang it.
He upped the ante for sure.
Oh, most
Uh,
definitely, man.
yeah, good stuff.
Now, Living Nightmares. We do have. You know, did we get anything from the IWA with regards to uh, what was George Carlin's Five Dirty Words or?
I have to admit my shortcomings here. I intended to ask them when I sent in my last report, and I did not. So I should make a note to take care of that this time, and see what language they're going to.
They're gonna well, up until that happens, you can expect RoboCat to have more malfunctions.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Oh.
Yeah, that's my apologies for that to everybody. I didn't take care of that.
And it was the holidays. Like I told everybody, I go, you know what? You guys got to understand it is the holidays. Everyone around the IWA is spending more and more time with their loved ones. So
Right.
yeah, because like I told everyone, hey, you know what? I do got a couple videos that I did procrastinate on. I forgot to put up as I just the time factor. It's just holiday
Mm,
times, guys. So
yeah.
we do this as a hobby. We do this when we do have time. We do hope you stick with us, through the holidays because, don't think we're forgetting about y'all. I think we're free.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, yeah, I definitely think the holidays is a time where, kind of the IWA for a lot of people takes a back seat, which is probably a healthy thing, right?
Oh, most
But
definitely, yeah.
but now we're past the holidays. Time to get back into it. Unless you're me and then you went harder over the
Over the holiday.
holidays. Yeah, you're like, I got a few days off of work. I'm gonna do extra stuff. So
Well,
so
well, well. This show is going to air before the bronze comes out, and I haven't checked the steel, but it looks like this is another quirky cycle.
it does. I didn't check the steel drops, but
Yeah.
a
Uh,
26 dropped. A
uh,
26 dropped out. Like a 26 went to 23.
and a
So
24 moved up.
right, correct. So
Bastard.
it's going to be
Those
another.
bumps.
I know, and it's going to be another goofy cycle, I
Yeah.
think.
So if you're listening, be forewarned. Before.
Sure.
Ah,
Yep. Um. So if you don't mind indulging me, I had a couple things I wanted to make sure I went over.
most definitely. No, no, no. We're good.
Um. We almost hit 100 cards,
I
which I
saw
mean,
that.
93 is incredible. Like not taking anything away from hitting 93. It was sixth most active in the IWA this past cycle, which is incredible. The LNL also won 2 matches for $1, which means that if you take a match deal, instead of getting 20 matches for 12, you get 24 matches for 12. So, at some point that kind of tapers off and it doesn't, have much of an effect. But if you take a match deal, make sure you get those 4 additional. But hey, 4
Oh yeah, and like the hashtag every match matters.
Every match matters, yes. But if we hit 100, all the singles champions get 10 free matches. So you could have, 40 free matches potentially if all 4 of your wrestlers are on the title page when we have over 100 cards. So that deal is out there. The pay-per-view that we went over, all new champions except the Anarchy title. I do have a thought heading out of Dead by Dawn, where maybe I'm going to have the Anarchy title defended every 3 cycles, give or take, like in between. Like the Anarchy title will be defended at pay-per-views, but then there'll also be like a special untelevised, so to speak, title defense about halfway in between. Kind of something to make that title a little different, a little unique. Kind of keep that moving. And then we just finished the 5th Commissioner's Challenge, I think, right? 5th one? 4th or 5th? I'm going to double check. Who commissions this league anyway? Let's double check. The 4th challenge just finished. So the 4th challenge, Commissioner Challenge tournament just finished. Dr. Frankenstein won 25 free matches. But I'm considering expanding that field to 12. So we'll see kind of where our activity goes. I would say right now, with the number of wrestlers we have, I think 8 is still okay. If we get a couple more managers added in, I'll probably expand that Commissioner Challenge to 12 wrestlers. I like it because it rewards people who can't get into the Commissioner's Challenge without consistently trash talking. So it's just an opportunity to win 25 free matches. Hopefully that is just another added bonus for our awesome managers.
And those of you guys that are commissioning, just more tidbits to throw at you, just different ways to reward certain aspects of the game if
Mm-hmm. Yes. I feel like I've mentioned the RWL several times today, but something that they're doing that I think is awesome is making sure that they kind of have in the new year, making sure that their point system rewards several different aspects of the game, which I think is kudos to them. I don't want to be an unsolicited advertisement for the RWL, but really, I think the work that they're doing there is awesome. If you're interested in a ladies' league that actually has stories, there's no other place to go. So that said, I just wanted to make a final note that as we finish,
and if you don't mind me plugging
not
it,
at all.
It was just announced during their last cycle that the Wrestler of the Year award there is going to win a real live belt,
which is awesome. I mean, kudos to them because that's cool.
Just a little added perk to the Wrestler of the Year.
A little added bonus. So didn't want to jinx, and so I didn't mention it last time, and I hope, knock on wood, I don't jinx it now. With the holiday cycle, the LNL has quietly been in the top 10 for the past 12 cycles in a row, which I just think is a testament to the awesome managers that are in the LNL. Kudos to everybody. We were talking before we got on, being in the top 10 isn't everything, and certainly more important than maybe being in the top 10 is having fun with what you're doing, but definitely wanted to shout out how awesome it is that the LNL has been in the top 10 for most of 2018.
Kudos. I mean, like you said, it is another aspect of the game. It just shows, the support. And I mean, I caught on to it I would say probably the last part of the year. But the times that I've like I said, and I'm still getting some shock and all there, and I'm still getting some.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can expect the unexpected moving into 2019 because yeah, the way last year ended is definitely definitely well worth the play time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was definitely a good end of the year shocker.
Oh yeah, no, and obviously we're being kind of vague because we don't want to spoil everything that happened. We'll next cycle we'll touch a little more on exactly the details to what went down, but definitely go back take a look at the Living Nightmare bulletin number 46. A lot of fun reads, a lot of fun
Yeah.
reads.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I would think it was, good to peruse the whole thing. But even if all you do is read just those couple pages with the potential sale, it's good stuff. LNL historic event.
Oh yeah, no, like I said, it's definitely a nice way to pinnacle the year, and yeah, moving into 2019 is like I said, I wanted to say it, but I won't because I'll ruin it. I'll ruin it. I don't
Yeah.
want to ruin it.
How do I hint at it without telling it?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah,
So good stuff there. Good stuff. Now, Scott, are we did we get everything in for the Living Nightmare League, or
I
what else
think
what are we
I
missing?
think I have pretty much exhausted just about everything I could mention.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, no, we'll,
Yeah.
we'll definitely, like I said, I'm looking forward to moving forward. Looking forward to moving forward with this because a lot to cover and a lot going on these next cycles.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
All righty, guys, you've been listening to Living Nightmares After Hours with Scott Anderson and myself, IWA Flip. We'll see you guys next one. Scott, take it easy, brother.
You too.